Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, today to give you a better idea of the psychoses of the president of the United States, currently Donald Trump, uh, I'm going to share with you a little parable, a little story called The Scorpion and the Frog. And hopefully by the end of this, you will understand why it is he does what he does and why it is that we, the American people, the press, the media, the Congress, need to stop falling for it. Once upon a time, by a quiet pond, a scorpion sat on a lily pad, eyeing the far shore. He needed to cross, but he couldn't swim. A frog hopped nearby, and the scorpion called out, "Frog, carry me across the pond on your back." The frog froze, his eyes wide. "No way! You're a scorpion. You'll sting me, and then I'll die." The scorpion tilted his head, his tail glinting in the sun. Why would I sting you? If I did, we'd both drown. I need you to get across. It is in my best interest to keep you safe. The frog frowned, unsure. "I've heard about your kind. Stinging is what you do." "Not this time," the scorpion said smoothly. "I give you my word. No sting, just a quick ride." The frog hesitated, his webbed feet twitching. The scorpion's logic seemed sound, but his instincts screamed caution. Still, the scorpion kept pleading, his voice soft and urgent. "Please, frog, I'm desperate. Help me, and we'll both make it." Against his better judgment, the frog sighed. "Fine, climb on, but no tricks." The scorpion scuttled onto the frog's back, and they glided into the water. The frog swam steadily, the pond's ripples spreading around them. Halfway across, wait a minute, excuse me. Hold on a second. Okay. Halfway across, the scorpion's tail twitched. The frog felt a prickle of fear, but kept going. Then, in a flash, the scorpion struck, plunging his stinger into the frog's back. Pain seared through the frog as he gasped, "Why? You've killed us both." As they sank beneath the water, the scorpion shrugged, his voice calm. "I couldn't help it. It's in my nature." Moral of the story is some cannot change their nature, even when it leads to their own destruction. Now, folks, I'm sure you've heard a version of that story before, whether it involves a snake, whether it involves a face eating leopard, whether it involves a con man who has bankrupted his businesses at least 6 times, including twice with a casino, who has been convicted of 34 felonies, and he continues to bamboozle a significant number of people in our country that we happen to share space with. And unfortunately, it affects all of us. So it behooves us to scream louder, to get our points across, to help snap these gullible morons out of it and get them to stop buying what this snake oil salesman is selling. So yeah, we're going to get into more of that, and we're going to get into a bunch of stuff. So I hope you're ready, because I am. Let's go. Story time. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Friday, folks. Happy Friday again. We are back. We're back on Friday. Last week, we had the show on Thursday because I had the pleasure of attending what ended up being a beautiful 30th anniversary for my cousin, and got to see a bunch of folks that I haven't seen in a very long time. One of whom, actually, I've seen her recently, but is my lovely 99-year-old auntie, who is adorable. And you would never guess, looking at her, you would never guess that she's 99. I mean, she doesn't look 99. She looks like maybe in her early 70s. She acts like, when I say she acts like she's in her 70s, like she's not like old and like slow moving. She's like up. she's amazing. So anyway, it was a beautiful event. I look forward to celebrating my 30th anniversary with my wife. So yeah, if you guys get a chance to go to one of those, like long anniversary things, go. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So let us say hello to our buddies here. We see Zelda. Zelda is here at the top. Zelda was trending on Twitter yesterday, which I thought was interesting. It was for the Legend of Zelda, but the Legend of Zelda is alive and well, and she is one of our favorite guests on the show. Thank you for being here, Zelda. And I see Bernadette is right there, right below. And Joanne Kennedy is there. And let's see, Valerie G. Ness from Connecticut. Stella Baxter is here. Sandra Lee is here. Meredith Powell in the heezy. Olivia S says greetings from Seattle. Let's see, who do we have here? Meredith Powell is asking, what are the purple crowns? I want one. Tantrum incoming. Actually, I was watching the first time I saw those purple crowns, I was watching Shrinking Trump earlier today, and I saw those, and honestly, I don't know, because I don't think I have one. But I did see those purple crowns. They might be, I have no idea. If somebody could explain that, I could share it share it with the rest of you. I have no clue. But then Zelda was asking me about it because she's got a purple crown. She wanted to know what the hell they were. I don't know. Cindy Kellner is here. Been a while since I've been able to hear you due to work schedule, but so happy to have changed that. Welcome back, Cindy Kellner. Welcome back. Let's see. Jaime H says hello from Boston. Hi from, wait, that's Jamie, I think, right? Jamie, excuse me. Laurie B is here. Tina Bradford is here. Yes, you did make it on time this week, Tina. Tracy M, aka Nurse Mitch, is here. Watcher Soko. Stephanie L. from Florida. The Trump Reaper is here. Fox Hill Dreams. Cindy C. You can tell when I'm getting to the end of my my list here because my voice goes up. Queen of the South is here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I know I've got more of you. If I missed you, Carla. Hey, Carla Nicole is here. Welcome, Carla. Glad to have you here. Okay, so and Olivia S, I see you there. Okay. If I missed you, there's JBT Online says hi from the UK is with us. So if I missed you, Mama AG. Okay, if I missed you, I will do my best to shout you out later on. I saw Dexter Wright, King of X suspensions in the house. Okay, let's see. All right, so welcome you guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump into what I like to call the stories of the day.
Stories of the day.
Stories of the day, and that's not the story. That's not the main. Here we go. Wait, that's not even the right graphic. I forgot to switch it out. I need a better one. There's a better one with Elon there with the black eye in the lower right corner of the screen. I could probably swap it out, but I'm not going to bother. The title of today's show is Chicken Trump Tanks Tariffs. Chicken Trump Tanks Tariffs. And up front, we got Elon leaving. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Fuck off. Yes, Elon is leaving, but sadly, he's not really leaving. I mean, he is leaving for all intents and purposes. He's technically leaving. At least that's what he wants his shareholders from Tesla to believe. But the fact remains, he's not going far away from Donald Trump. Yeah, no, he can't. He basically bought that office. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is very upset with Vladimir Putin. He's angry. He's disappointed. He's so disappointed in Vladimir Putin that he's going to give him an extra 2 weeks to smack the other side of his ass. Another 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. That's it. After 2 weeks, we'll probably just extend the deadline for another 2 weeks to drag me around by my nose. Yeah. Taco man. I've got to be a taco man. Be a taco man. I've got to be a taco. Special thanks to Stella Baxter for making a comment in the replies over here. So you guys, you know I do read these replies, and she posted a link to a YouTube for Jimmy Kimmel. So I can't take credit for the song, but yeah, Jimmy Kimmel loves to go off on Trump. And so he very cleverly wheeled out the YMCA anthem that Donald Trump loves to dance to, and just filled in the words with Taco Man, which is very clever. And this is the gift, I think, that is going to keep on giving. That whole taco thing, I can't forget it. It's hilarious. It came out of left field, and it's from Wall Street. the Wall Street guys. They coined that phrase, and it's hilarious because it pissed him off. Why? Because it's an acronym for Trump always chickens out. and he was confronted about that. And it will never not be funny to me. It's freaking hilarious. And of course, included in today's show will be the dumbest Trump comment of the week. And as you know, that is a very tough that's a tough bar to sneak under, because there's so many dumb comments he makes on a daily basis. And if this is your first time here, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that button. It looks like a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe. It's the red box in the lower right-hand corner of your YouTube screen. And in case you missed it, I wrote yet another. Just so you know, I'm writing about 1 to 2 new Substack articles per week. I do put a great deal of thought and time and consideration into these things. So I ask that you just take a moment of your busy schedule to read these. I do put a lot of time and thought into them. The title of this is "No Harvard Degree Here, but I'm Calling Out Trump's Dangerous Game." And then the subtitle is "A Raw Take on Why Trump's Attack on Universities and Not Hate Groups Shows His True Colors and Threatens America's Edge." So what do I mean by that? First of all, let me say this, right? I'm not I did not attend an Ivy League school. In fact, I didn't even finish the college that I did attend, which was Mercy College, which was like a small little, blink and you miss it kind of college nobody's ever heard of, unless you're in the Bronx or in Dobbs Ferry, New York. There was never any chance of me going to Harvard. I don't have any sore feelings about it. I don't have any feelings about Harvard, But if you grew up during the 80s like I did, right? And you saw movies like Revenge of the Nerds, for instance. You guys remember Revenge of the Nerds? The bad guys were always those, prissy prep school or prissy Ivy League college bullies. They were always wearing the big V-neck and, "Darling, are we going on the yacht later on? I have to stop by the private golf club, blah, 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 blah." It was always those like super duper rich elite people who were the bad guys, right? Now, I know that everybody who goes to Harvard isn't necessarily rich. There's maybe a small fraction of people, maybe 5-10% of people have scholarships, right? That's understandable. I had a scholarship at one point to a very good private school It was middle school and high school in Manhattan. It's called the Dalton School. Well, we were poor, like dirt poor, poor with a capital P. So there's no love lost for me with Ivy League colleges, especially Harvard. Harvard is the biggest, the richest university maybe on the planet, But here's the deal. You have to be really, really shitty to make Harvard the good guy. And that is what Donald Trump has done. He has waged an assault on the largest, most affluent Ivy League university in the country. Why should we care? Why? Because he is attacking free speech, right? Let's get something straight. He doesn't give a shit about anti-Semitism. He doesn't. Never did, never will. His own aunt, Mary Trump. Wait, is aunt niece? His own niece, Mary Trump. She's got receipts. She knows all the shit that he said over the years, and he doesn't care about anti-Semitism. He does care about being able to use anti-Semitism as a weapon to attack Harvard University. And that's probably courtesy of Christopher Rufo. He's that guy who weaponized CRT. He weaponized DEI. He's that guy is the devil, right? He takes things that we care about and weaponize them against us. So free speech, he's weaponized free speech. And he's also even attacking the international students. He's attacking Harvard's ability to bring international students into Harvard. Why does that matter? Because some of the best and brightest minds from around the world come to our best and brightest universities. And then they take their talents, their intelligence, their skills, whatever, their know-how, and they put them to use to solve some of the biggest problems that we have going on. They go there to work on scientific issues, on medical issues, and he wants to stop that. That's insane. If we want to compete with China, the last thing we should be doing is demonizing these international students, making them fear that if I come to the United States, I might be dragged into a van and shipped off to Sudan or to El Salvador or someplace where there's no chance of me ever seeing my family again. It's idiotic. It is shooting yourself in the foot. But as I stated in the story, the fable that I shared with you at the beginning of today's episode, the scorpion and the frog, Donald Trump cannot help but to do things that are self-destructive. It's why he ran businesses into the ground. What he does, he doesn't know how to succeed. He fails and stumbles into I don't know, I guess he's lucky. But his luck isn't our good fortune. It only works for himself. Anyway, go check out that Substack if you get a chance. I would greatly appreciate it. And I would love to hear your thoughts, to hear what you think. So please leave a comment below. Let's see, what is it? Let me make this a little bigger. Oh yeah. So for those of you who helped out last week, you might recall that Really American was targeted for some reason by YouTube. The Really American YouTube channel was suspended for a week for using like a decade old skit involving Rudy Giuliani in drag and Donald Trump. And for some idiotic reason, they claimed that skit was like harassment and involved nudity, neither of which was the case. So thanks to you guys, you shouted out YouTube, you called them out, you asked them to please reconsider, and that is what they did. They lifted the suspension well before the week was over. So guys, thank you for your assistance. Thank you very much. And for my fellow Knicks, excuse me, for my fellow Knicks fans, New York Knicks fans, we still have some life. We have suffered some setbacks this week, some big time setbacks. We're in an 0-2 hole to Indiana, the Pacers, who suddenly they look like the Reggie Miller Pacers. So yeah, they did beat our ass, but we've fought and climbed back into, now we're down 3-2. Mind you, if Indiana wins one game, that's it. We're finished. So I seriously hope the next game is Saturday. I hope we win in Indiana. Let's see. Sandra Lee wants to know, did Rudy ever pay those women? I don't believe so. I think I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. If anyone can answer that question, please give an assist here. And my friend Zelda, thank you so kindly. You are an angel. Greatly appreciate you. thank you for your kindness and your generosity to the show. Really appreciate you. Let's see. And okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our first story, and it is involving Elon Musk leaving DOGE. DOGE is the Department of Government Efficiency, and that department has been anything but efficient, firing people and then having to bring them back. So this meme here says, "I've fucked up the lives of countless Americans. My job is done. I bid you farewell." Yeah, but he really isn't going anywhere. Really, he's kind of got a standing invitation to stay, to come back whenever his shareholders feel less less shaky about his supporting the Trump administration and his involvement in politics. And so he was at the White House today sporting a shiny new shiner, a black eye, which is actually pretty significant in that Elon Musk has been a black eye on America. He has given America a black eye with his, let me say something, right, about the whole idea, the whole notion of DOGE. I don't mind the idea of cutting out fraud, waste, and abuse. I talked about this a lot. Like, if we're talking about the kind of waste and abuse that we saw from the Pentagon, for instance, right, where you have toilet seats that for some reason cost $10,000 each, or a hammer that costs $1,000. Come on now. send a brother to the store for you. I will go to Lowe's and get you some hammers that cost $1 each, and they're good hammers. Yeah, I don't mind cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse. Go for it. But Elon hired 6 guys, right? They're all in their late teens and early 20s. I'm not saying that young people don't know anything. Sure, I'm sure they're plenty good at what they do, with the computers, right? He's good with computer. I'm sure they're plenty good with computers, but they're not auditors. They're not accountants. If you are looking to cut $2 trillion out of the budget, then you need some people who know how to read line items, and you need legit auditors to go in and assess what is essential and what is not essential. But no, he just went in, like, have you ever seen that thing where they it's like a challenge to go in to a department store with a shopping cart and grab as many things as you can off the shelves within 60 seconds? You ever seen that? I've thought about doing that myself. Like, that's an amazing opportunity. But that's not how you approach cutting government services, because these government services are very real. They do things that help people. They help veterans. They help single mothers. They help families. They help families affected by storms and, like FEMA. They help people who we will never meet in different countries and different continents. They help establish America's presence around the globe in a good way. They call that soft power, and we need that. And unfortunately, Elon approached this as though there was like a 60-second time limit. Waste, fraud, abuse, and just kicking doors down and just slapping waste, fraud, and abuse labels on everything. And he ended up, like an asshole, firing a bunch of people from the FAA, the Flight and Aviation Administration. So go figure. Big surprise. All of a sudden, airplanes start dropping out of the sky like you've never seen before. So, yeah, I'm not sad to see that motherfucker go. But yeah, he came in sporting a black eye today. And apparently he was trying to say that he let his 5-year-old son punch him in the face. Why? Why? I've got 3 boys that are grown now, and we've roughhoused before. I've never asked one of them to punch me in the face. Is that some kind of new thing? And is he that strong what did you give him, some brass knuckles? I have so many questions. What is the deal with that? But he was, once again, Elon looked very strange in the Oval Office, and I'm going to share with you what I saw. Oh yeah, there's the clip there. Well, no. Hang on. Let's go to the profile here. There we go. Take a look at Elon's behavior, his physical behavior.
And again, the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's no country as hot. And we're doing really well. We came, when I left, we had no wars, we had no problems. We defeated ISIS, we rebuilt our military, and we had no inflation. And when I came back, we had a lot of inflation. We had wars all over the place. We had the embarrassment.
What is so interesting on the ceiling? What are you looking at, dude? Very bizarre. So I'm bringing this up because a story came out recently about his use of drugs. Now, as many of you know, I myself am a recovering addict, proudly celebrating this August 17th. We'll be celebrating 22 years clean and sober, August 17th, God willing. So I know what it is to be addicted and to be on drugs. And I personally would not recommend being intoxicated when you're working in the White House. When you're working in the White House, there are lives at stake. You are responsible for making decisions that are going to affect hundreds of millions of people. So, yeah, you should be sober. It should be required that you take drug tests. And actually, I think it is a requirement too. I'm going to pull up here. This was a tweet by Occupy Democrats. And they're very good at recapping stories. So I'm just going to share with you what they wrote here. Bombshell new report alleges that MAGA billionaire Elon Musk had a massive drug abuse problem, and the details are absolutely jaw-dropping. It's much worse than anyone thought. The New York Times reports that during Donald Trump's 2020 campaign, during which Musk donated $275 million to help him win back the White House, Musk was using drugs far more intensely than previously known, and his drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. His ketamine abuse allegedly got so bad that he informed people it was, quote, affecting his bladder. Apparently, that is a well-known side effect of heavy ketamine use. He also reportedly consumed ecstasy, psychedelic mushrooms, and Adderall. His alleged problem was so bad, in fact, that he traveled with a box containing roughly 20 pills. The Times obtained a photo of the box and spoke to people who have seen it. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, kind of a big deal. So he was asked about it during this, press conference held in the Oval Office to celebrate the end of his tenure at DOGE, and he dismissed it. He tried to say, "Oh, fake news. Is this the same fake news they reported on the Russia thing?" Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but you know what? The Russia thing was not a hoax. Okay, So yeah, he should not be. He's the richest guy on the planet, right? When I had to go through to go through the beginning of my sobriety, I was not in any kind of deluxe facility. I was in a little place in Harlem called Stryver House. It was a great place. Helped me to get reconnected spiritually. It helped me to get, to be with other men who were also on the road back to recovery. I sat in encounter groups and people held me accountable. They looked at me and they, if it required some hostility to break through, or just some tough love or whatever, this was a really deep experience, and I went through it and came out through the other side just fine. Elon Musk, he could spend, I don't know, $100,000, $1 million, for a deluxe exclusive getaway thing. Get yourself clean. Maybe you will stop being such an asshole, because he wasn't always an asshole. When he first embarked on his thing to create electric vehicles, that's the sort of thing he was doing, that so that to save the earth. He was catering to people who give a shit about climate change. Now he's the hero of people who think climate change is a hoax. Make no sense. You're antagonizing the very people who would normally buy your vehicle, but because you're such a fucking dickhead, they're like, you know what? Let me take a look at the Rivian or the Lucid or some of these other electric vehicles. So he bit off way more than he could chew with the DOGE thing. He said he wanted to trim $2 trillion. He ended up only finding $160 billion, and maybe not even that much, maybe as low as $80 or $90 billion is all he could find out of 2 trillion. But he has major criticisms about Trump's quote unquote big, beautiful bill, which I'm not calling it that. I am calling that bill the big, brutal, barbaric bill. That's what the hell I'm calling it. But yeah, he criticized it and says it can't be big and beautiful at the same time. And people are thinking, oh, maybe that's caused a rift between him and Trump. I don't think so. He owns Trump. He plunked down you spent $250 million on anything, you own that shit. You own it. He owns Trump's ass. So yeah, DOGE is far short of its goal and still overstating its progress. Yeah, the DOGE thing is a major scam. And I think the whole purpose I think the whole purpose of Elon going in there and kicking in doors and doing it as quickly as possible was chaos theory. You do it so fast and furious and create so much of a shock and awe thing that people are freaked out. Imagine if in the middle of the night you had 5 people kick your door down and start grabbing shit and going through things. You would be aware that something is happening in your house. You can't focus on the one thing because there's 5 different guys going nuts in your house. And you're astonished and you're shocked and you're outraged, and you don't focus on the guy, going in your jewelry box and taking your diamonds, or, doing other shit, right? So they did this intentionally to distract and befuddle the American public. Yeah, I would call it the big, brutal, barbaric bill. That's what I would call it. Hey, Diane London is here, folks. There she is. There she is. Welcome back, Diane. So save Tesla, fire Musk. I saw this this truck. They call these billboard trucks. I saw this, and there he is with the chainsaw. The dude is absolutely insanely out of his mind. Insane. This is a guy who people used to respect at one point, and now the shareholders of Tesla feel that he has brought down the value of their company. He has destroyed it with his antics, with his idiocy. So, yeah, I'm happy. But here, this meme here says, "Am I the only one around here who sees this Trump-Putin feud for the bullshit theater it is?" Yeah, I brought this up because there is the same feud that people think is going on between Trump and Elon. It's imaginary. It's imaginary. Trump 100% defers to Elon. He will never say anything to upset the man, the richest man on earth. And he'll never say anything to upset the guy who could potentially be the second richest man on earth, Vladimir Putin. Nobody knows how much Vladimir Putin is worth, but people have talked about it. It's possible that he could be worth many, many billions of dollars. Wait, people are saying hi, Joe. Who's here? Who's Joe? And why am I not seeing her? Okay. Oh shit! Look at this. Dexter Wright says Putin can buy Musk. That's interesting. That's a very interesting comment there. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, nobody knows how much money he's worth. But we do know that Donald Trump respects and fears Vladimir Putin to the point where he has yet to say anything harsh or critical about Vladimir Putin, to the point where it's comical at this point. He brought President Zelensky to the White House, to the Oval Office, and he ganged up. He and J.D. Vance, they bushwhacked him. It was a ridiculous, horrendous, embarrassing scene where they invited that man in, and then J.D. Vance was all, "Did you even say thank you? Have you said thank you yet to our president?" Yeah, he did, you fucking moron. But Vladimir Putin, who is actually the guy who is still bombing, he is bombing Ukraine. He's bombing the shit out of Ukraine. Joanna from LA. Hey, Joe. Welcome to the show. Yeah, so that's the guy who is holding up the peace process. He is holding up, anything, pretty much almost anything Trump has asked for. Zelensky's been like, yeah, okay, sure. You want raw minerals? You got it. Raw minerals, no problem. You want ceasefire? I'm on board. Everything he's asked for, Zelensky's been like, let's do it. Vladimir Putin is dragging him around by the nose, and well, Donald, maybe you give me 95% of Ukraine, then we talk. What? You mean 95% of what you've already taken, right? No, 95% Ukraine, everything. We're doing this. Ukraine is for Russia. Ukraine is for Russia. It's not for Ukraine. Ukraine is for Russia. It's my Putin. Yeah. So ever since Donald Trump left that room, he went into a room in Helsinki with Vladimir Putin. You guys remember, I think it was 2018 or 2019. And he came out of that room a changed man. he came out looking like Putin showed him every last receipt that he had, receipts that would destroy him and destroy his entire name and his brand and everything, that would vaporize him. That's the look. Look at that look, that expression on his face, guys. Look on the screen there. He looks ashen. He looks like somebody just showed him, video of him in his dirtiest moments in life. And ever since then, it's he would never question. So where is he right now? He's disappointed. He's like Donald Trump is just is like the presidential version of Susan, what's her name? Damn it. What's the senator from Maine? What's her name? Susan Useless, Susan Concernicus, Susan Collins. There we go. He's like Susan Collins. I'm so disappointed in Vladimir Putin. Yeah. So he's very angry. It's impotent, man. It's impotent. He went from bragging that he would end this war in 24 hours. That is like a fucking bold ass thing. That's just like I'm gonna build a wall and have Mexico pay for it. The boldest brag you could possibly come up with, and you can't back it up. And people are still falling for this shit. Why? He's fucking lied so many times, 30,000 times. Why are we still buying his bullshit? I don't get it. Have you guys seen Total Recall, the version of Total Recall where Arnold Schwarzenegger is the main character? One of my favorite scenes from that movie is where he is wearing a mask that makes him look like a 40-year-old woman, and the person at the person at the immigration desk or whatever, I forget what they call that. They're asking, so how long do you plan to be here on Mars? And in this costume, as the woman, he says 2 weeks. And the guy asks a question that he wasn't prepared for, that this talking head thing wasn't prepared. And so he says, like, are you bringing any vegetables with you? And then he says 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And then the head starts spazzing out, and there you can see he's grabbing the inside of the mouth there. 2 weeks. And I brought this up because 2 weeks is Donald Trump's old reliable. It's his go-to. So he's giving Vladimir Putin 2 weeks. 2 weeks to what? To make him look like a fool again? Another 2 weeks? Yeah, we'll wait. 2 weeks. We'll be here. Just like your healthcare plan, 2 weeks, or infrastructure week, or 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh yeah, I did have something to show you guys here. Let's see. Let's see. 2 weeks. Here we go. 2 weeks.
trust President Putin?
You know, in about 2 weeks.
Is Ukraine doing enough to get this?
I'd rather tell you in about 2 weeks from now.
Keep saying 2 weeks about President Putin. What is 2 weeks? Give us, what is the actual date? What is the timeline?
2 weeks or less, and if it's a little more at the time, I say, but, you know, they're losing a lot of people.
See those little dates up at the top, April 27th, May 19th. Today is May 28th. So 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Now we're still 2 weeks away.
It's always going to be 2 weeks. April 27th, May 19th, May 28th. It's always 2 weeks. And still people fall for that nonsense. Excuse me. It's just hilarious. But it's not hilarious. It's ridiculous. Okay, so one of the best things that happened this week, I think, you got to pick and choose. This is what I call a silver lining to this shitstorm that we're in right now with the tariffs, right? It's the funniest thing. First of all, he's surrounded by financial experts, by people very smart people, the best people. He's got people like that work for him. Just nobody with the spine, nobody with cojones to tell him, look, the consumer pays for these tariffs, not China. China's not paying for the tariffs, right? Technically, the corporations are going to pay the tariffs to get it off the ship, but they are going to pass the cost on to the consumer, right? It's the consumer. It's the people who voted you into office that are going to be paying that premium price. And he just can't seem to get out of his own way. So early on, he was like, tariffs on Mexico and China. And then like a day or two later, he's like, you know what? Tariffs off. It's like wax on, wax off. It's like tariffs on, tariffs off. And it's become comical at this point because, then it was China, tariffs 145%. Whoa, 145. And then just wait. China didn't freak out. China's like, okay, sure. Okay, sure, fine. They just waited. He immediately came down from that number. And he would be like, I would love to play. I don't play poker. I don't play poker at all. But I would love to play against him because he would always fold. He would always fold. And that's what he does. And so as a result, Wall Street has given him the nickname Taco, meaning Trump always chickens out. And that is the gift that is going to keep on giving, I think, for a while. Trump rejects claim he's chickening out on tariffs just because he keeps changing rates. Trump's tariffs would still pinch consumers even if trade court block holds. So the even funnier thing that happened earlier this week was that the federal courts came in and blocked his tariffs. They said that's not your right to decide that. It is Congress. It is up to Congress, and that's in the Constitution. It is up to Congress to determine the tariff rates. But that could have been his off ramp, just so you know, right? He could, if he wasn't so up his own ass, he could have just realized, you know what? I fucked up, guys. I thought this was going to be a good idea. It's a disaster. It's actually a disaster. This could be the best thing for us, these court rulings. And then I could say, Donald Trump, I did the best I could. I tried, but the courts wouldn't let me. And he could have just taken that. Things would go back to normal, So we go back to Joe Biden inflation pricing, There's no way we're going back to, just so you guys know. I think I've said it on the show before. We are never, ever, ever going back to pre-COVID pricing. Period. We should. I would love it. but we won't, because corporations are fucking greedy. And we wanted Kamala Harris to do this like anti-price gouging thing. People were like, no, that's communism. You can't do that. What happened? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump was talking to Walmart, demanding that they eat the tariffs. Huh? So you telling us now that it's actually arbitrary, that they don't have to jack the price up? That there's some wiggle room in these prices here? Is it because Walmart is already, 300% up profit from pre-COVID? That's the game. That's the game that they don't want to tell us, that these corporations have just been jacking the prices up on us since COVID. When COVID happened, they rose the prices and they said, look, we have supply chain issues. Supply chain, that's why we have to raise the prices. The supply chain's resolved, but the prices never came back down. They stayed where the fuck they were. And then when Joe Biden came into office, they rose them again for some reason. And now that Trump is in office, his tariffs are giving the corporations yet another excuse to raise the prices again. And his supporters are so stupid, they don't realize, they don't see the game being played right in front of their faces. It is so frustrating. So I have a video to share with you. This cracked me the hell up. I'm going to share it with you guys because why the hell not? Oh, here, wait. All right, we'll play that one.
Oh, and then I chicken out. Oh, and then I kick out? Chicken out. Oh, and then I chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I said down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive. And you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number, but don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question.
He's such a snowflake, man. That's a nasty question. Yeah, he doesn't like being called chicken. He doesn't like being called anything. Nasty question. It's crazy. All of the shit that he calls everybody: Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Crooked Hillary, Lil Marco, what is he? Shifty Schiff. All these different nicknames he's got for everybody. He can't handle Taco Trump or chicken Trump. It's hilarious. I love it. I love it so much. And the memes are fantastical. They're hilarious. So Trump's tariffs are going to remain in effect after appeals court put him back on the hook. So that's where things are right now, is that we had two different federal courts say, no, your tariffs are illegal. They appealed it. And so now his tariffs are legal again. So prices are going to go up. And I'm not looking forward to it, honestly, because I've noticed already prices are much higher in the grocery store. Yeah, so let me just move on to the movies here, because this is my favorite part of the show, actually. I took the family to see the final installation of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movies, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I highly recommend you go see it in the theater on the biggest possible screen. It's amazing. This this movie is a hell of a thing. Wow. I mean, I can't say good enough things about it. It was very entertaining. It did tie up some stuff from previous movies. It's beautiful. I love it. I love that he goes all out to entertain us. It's a fabulous movie. The Handmaid's Tale had its finale this past week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and it was all right. Look, I've watched every episode of all 6 seasons, right? The penultimate episode, the second to last episode, was actually a lot more satisfying. There were some good things. There's some good emotional beats in the last one. Frankly, there was at least one, possibly 2 characters that I don't think deserved the happy ending that they got. Just leave it at that. But yeah, overall, very satisfying. You know, you like to see the good guys win, and in this instance, the good guys did win. The Last of Us didn't like this. Didn't like this at all. I love the show. I love the show, and I love the characters. And I guess I don't know. I guess the people who created this show made it for the people who play the video games, right? Because after I watched this, I saw some comments on Twitter. The people who played this game, The Last of Us, loved the finale, because it's very true that what they do on the screen is very true to the game, right? It's almost scene for scene, matches up. They loved it. I couldn't. I hated how it ended. I don't like personally. I don't really care much for cliffhangers. Sometimes a cliffhanger's okay, right? Like The Empire Strikes Back. That was a good cliffhanger, and I don't think we had to wait that long to see the next movie, The Return of the Jedi. That was a good cliffhanger, because it still wrapped some shit up at the end of Empire Strikes Back. We didn't know what the hell was going on with Han Solo, but the overall story was kind of tidy. This, I didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. There's a show on HBO. I don't know if it's Max or HBO Max or whatever. It's on HBO, and it's called Pee-wee as Himself. Now, I was never into Pee-wee Herman when he was coming up. I thought it was goofy and silly, and I didn't know what the allure was. But I was interested to see this because he gave this interview. What I didn't realize is that he was fighting cancer in the last 6 years of his life. And he granted this interview. I think he gave like 40 hours worth of interview. And all these provided all these like videotapes and pictures never seen before. And it was really interesting look into how he created that Pee-wee character. And the Pee-wee character, the actor's name is Paul Rubens, but his character is Pee-wee Herman. And Pee-wee Herman had a Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame thing. He had a star. Pee-wee Herman had a star well before Paul Rubens did. In fact, I don't even know if Paul Rubens ever got a star yet, because I haven't finished the documentary. I think it's 3 or 4 parts. And I just finished the second one. So it's a good show. It's definitely fascinating. Whether or not you were a fan of Pee Wee Herman, it's fascinating to look inside. The guy had a very creative mind, subversive, I guess they call it. Yeah, and now I actually want to check out that movie, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And I did not know that Phil Hartman co-wrote Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Oh wait, did I? I think Phil Hartman played a big part in this documentary too. Yeah, so very interesting show. And so last but not least, let's get on to this thing here. Trump's dumbest comment of the week. And this one wasn't as much dumb. It is dumb, but it was just despicable. It's despicable. And I'm just going to play it right now. It made me sick, made me angry. We all know that President Biden has announced that he has cancer, and the cancer is in his bones. And you don't have to feel sorry for him. You don't. But you also don't have to go out of your way to fucking attack the guy, right? There are people who I've heard their medical prognosis that I wasn't a fan of, like the guy Scott Adams, the guy who created Dilbert. I'm not going to say anything negative about the guy. He's on his last legs. He's looking death in the face. Why would I have to go out of my way to say something negative about the guy? That's like bad karma, you know? But yeah, this son of a bitch, he can't even help himself.
His lifetime, not a smart person. Look, he's been a sort of a moderate person over his lifetime, not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry because he's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people, Biden. And so I really don't feel sorry for him. But
the audacity, just the gall, to say that Joe Biden is vicious. Joe Biden, what he did to his political opponent. What did he do to his political opponent? Huh? Kamala Harris was probably the political opponent that he really mixed it up with, and he made her his vice president. What does Donald Trump do to his political opponents? Go ask Ted Cruz. He humiliated his political opponent. What did he do when Joe Biden was his political opponent before he even entered the race? What did he do? He extorted Ukraine for dirt on him, for which he was impeached. Get the fuck out of here. You didn't have to say anything, bro. You didn't have to say anything about Joe Biden. You didn't have to say anything at all. You say, you know what? No comment, right? You won. You're in the White House. You're in there. You're grifting. You're getting billions from the Saudis or from Qatar, from the crypto bros. You're getting all this money hand over fist. Can you leave the man with cancer alone? Can you do that? For people who follow him and call themselves Christians, I question your faith. I do question your faith. Oh, we're not looking for perfection. Yeah, but you know what? Doesn't decency matter to you at any point? Huh? You're going to overlook all the shit that he did, that he forcibly penetrated a woman in a dressing room, huh? That he cheated on his wife with a porn star and then paid to cover it up. None of that shit matters to you. What kind of life are you living? Huh? You said we'll deal with that stuff so long as he can throw brown people out of this country that we don't like. That's really who you are, right? Mass deportations. We don't care about, we're fine with immigration as long as you do it legally, right? That's what they're saying, right? How many times you got into a debate with a Trumper who says, I don't have a problem with immigration as long as they do it legally, right? Follow the process. What are they doing right now? He has his ICE agents showing up to court where these people are following the legal process. They're catching them while they're following the fucking law. What are you teaching them? Don't follow the law. Don't come out of the shadows. Don't show up to your court appointments, because ICE is going to snatch you up and deport you to Sudan or El Salvador, countries that you had no connection with whatsoever. And this is what these so-called Christians are backing. Shame on you. Shame on you. Anyway. Folks, thank you for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad, and I have to pause because I can't remember who was asking me to do. It might have been Lori B asking me to return to doing Q&A, question and answer. So I got time for let's call it 2 questions. Ask away. William George, I will say to you, I do believe in God. I absolutely believe in God. And I absolutely believe that God would not like the guy that you selected to lead our country. He would not like any of the things that he stands for, any of the things that he's doing right now. Okay, let's see. Meredith wants to know, what are you watching tonight? I am going to watch, I don't know. I think we're going to finish up watching that Pee Wee Herman thing, Paul Rubens thing, whatever. And there's another show on Apple TV. Apple TV is making some good shows, just in case you didn't know. Apple TV has made like Ted Lasso. It's a fantastic show. Shrinking is another good show. Dope Thief. It's a great show. There's so many good shows that Apple TV is watching. I'm in the middle of watching one right now called Murderbot, where the guy from he was a vampire Eric from True Blood plays a robot who has figured out how to like not deprogram himself, but how to break free from, basically break free from his programming so he has free will. And he's trying to keep that under wraps. He doesn't want the people that he's working for now to know that he has free will, because otherwise he has to kill them. And really, he just wants to be left alone to watch his soap operas. It's a funny show. It's very funny. Esmila J says, you just made me mad all again about this all again. So sorry, but I had to get that off my chest. Michael McAndrews wants to know, what year is this? It is 2025. I don't know why you would waste a question on that, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the 2 questions I had time for. No, wait, let's see. Valerie G wants to know, will I write another book? It's an interesting question you ask, because the last time I saw the number of absurd things pile up, that was what made me decide to write The Littlest President. So I'm not sure. I took a bath on the last one, The Bigliest Loser. It's a fantastic book. I'm very proud of The Bigliest Loser. I just, I gambled that Kamala Harris was going to win it all. And when she didn't, it was hard for me to say, buy my book. It's like rubbing salt in the wounds, But it was a fantastic book. Anyway, I loved it. I had a great time writing it. William George with another question. Then why are you so judging of people? If I believe in God, why am I so judging of people? I would like to ask you, William George, why are you so judging of me? If you believe in God, why is Donald Trump so judging of people? Don't go there. Don't go there. There's nothing that says I can't judge people and believe in God. If I see people doing shitty things, I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, agnostic, right? I don't care about your religion, your religious beliefs, or whatever. If you're doing something good, I'm going to praise you for it. If you're doing something bad, I'm going to say you're a shitty person. But my judging somebody isn't going to send them to El Salvador without due process, right? They have judged this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They have judged him. When I say judged him, he's sitting in a maximum security prison in El Salvador, where people cannot even get to him to confirm that he's okay, that he's not getting his ass kicked, that he's not being abused or beaten. They've said that he is a gang member. They have said that he is a terrorist. Okay. Where is your evidence? Because last time I checked, this is the United States of America. If you level accusations like that, serious accusations, you must have some proof, right? It's not because this guy said he is. If this has become a country where one person can say Joe Blow is a terrorist and a gang member, and then that Joe Blow's word is just taken for granted, and let's send you to a different country. Oh, well, where's the proof? Where is the proof? Well, he's not here legally. Okay, well, that's one thing. He's not here legally, but you're also saying that he's a gang member and that he is a terrorist. Well, look at the picture. Look, he's got these things on his tattoos on his knuckles. It's not proof of anything. It's proof that he's got tattoos. Look at the MS-13. It's Photoshop, bro. Those letters are in Calibri. It's like a default font for PCs. Everybody knows that. Come on. When you judge somebody and they end up getting sent to a gulag, that is against our principles. That is against our American principles of due process. You know who gets due process here? The Ku Klux Klan. Neo-Nazis. Donald Trump. Donald Trump got oodles and oodles of due process. I don't like Donald Trump, but he got due process, right? He had the right to have his lawyers examine the proof against him, argue in court about that shit. Because if it was up to a lot of people, millions of Americans, they'd have been like, throw his ass in prison without a trial. But that's not how we work. That's not how it works, right? So, why am I judging of people? Everybody judges people. Everybody judges. Everybody's got an opinion about something, right? But if your opinion turns into a verdict that adversely affects the life or the quality of life of somebody, that's a problem. Me having an opinion, it's like assholes. Everybody's got an opinion. But my opinion is not going to affect somebody's quality of life unless I am a president who sees that I should be a dictator, who thinks that I should be a dictator, and that no laws apply to me, that I can do anything I want to do, then that's a problem. Anyway, I'm going to do what Meredith Powell says, and I'm going to stay woke and nice. And folks, thank you for joining me again for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. William George, by the way, I just want to say thank you for joining us for this conversation. Thank you for your questions. I don't think I was disrespectful of you. I do appreciate you asking me these questions and you for being respectful. Yeah, and no, he's not the best man for the job. He's probably the worst man for the job, actually. I could think of, off the top of my head, 100 different people would be better at the job than Donald Trump. So once again, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you here next week, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.